Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce someone very special.
From organizing some of the largest parties in New York City and all over the world to surviving Fyre Festival.
Won't go that far, I'm sure, but...
He is the ultimate team player.
His name is Andy King.
Welcome to Take Two with Andy King.
Hey, everybody. I got a little story today, and it's entitled The Lemonade Stand. You all know my charter and my vision and my mantra about sustainability. And, you know, running an event business that focuses on zero waste definitely has its challenges, as you can imagine, because, of course, large events are so wasteful. But we've had a lot of fun trying to come up with ways of how to integrate sustainability into big events. And this one's kind of a fun one because I'm sure many of you listeners attend several conferences every year, and we attend a lot of conferences. And, well, this is pre-COVID, obviously, and I'm sure there'll be conferences again after COVID. And we sat one day, my team and I, trying to brainstorm about, like, what would be something clever to do at a conference? What kind of a booth? What would be sort of different? And there we are at some of these conferences where, like, Samsung is, like, got a $2 million booth, and AT&T or Pepsi or Coca-Cola. I mean, all these big booths, and it's kind of hard to compete with that. And I'm like, gosh, we don't have that kind of a budget. And I thought to myself, and I said, you know what? Think about the simple purity, the simple, just wonderful imagery of that little lemonade stand that you see at the ends of people's driveways in the summer, where cute little kids are pouring lemonade for 25 cents with a handmade sign and a pitcher of lemonade that their mother helped them make, and a tray of cookies and brownies, and just little giggly kids, and there they are, lemonade, 25 cents, lemonade, cookies. And I'm thinking, wow, that is one of the most wholesome visions you can possibly have. And when you think about the world of sustainability and trying to, how do you make these big events as close to zero waste as possible? Boom, here's a cool idea. So here's a conference that we're attending, and it happens to be at a resort that's known for its sustainability practices. That's very close to San Diego. And we arrive, and all the organizers are working away, and all the booths are getting built. And I set out with a couple of my employees, and we'd done a little research. And we found a lemon grower, a family farmer, a wonderful great-grandfather who had a lemon farm, a citrus farm, let's say it was about 20 miles from the resort where we were attending this conference. And we drove out one morning. We made an appointment, said we were coming out, wanted to talk to him. And we went out and heard his life story. And it was amazing. I mean, he was third-generation citrus grower. What's happened through the years is incredible. A highway's gone through the farm. They built a mall on one side. But he has held in through thick and thin, tried and true to his trade. And there it was, the great-grandfather, the grandfather, the son, the grandson, the I don't know. There were 3 generations, actually 4 generations when we went out that day. Grandfather, the son, the grandson, and the 2 great-granddaughters. Yeah, and they were like 3 years old, the great-granddaughters. And we set out picking lemons for hours, bushels of lemons, and we brought them back. And I explained to them what I was doing. I said, listen, I'm setting up a lemonade stand, but I'd love to get some information about your family, which I did. And we took a huge photograph, which was kind of fun. And we created some signage for them out of reclaimed wood and with paint. And then we used the old RPT, which was things to make banners out of, which is all reclaimed material. And we created the most fun booth. And the night that we left him from picking lemons, we went straight to our Airbnb and we had picked up some juicers, and my team and I sat there juicing lemons until the wee hours of the morning and making simple syrup. And we had huge, big, oversized ball jars that we were going to serve the lemonade in, and wonderful regular ball jars as glasses. And we had a wonderful handmade tablecloth. I mean, just one of the most organic but beautiful looking. We had 2 wonderful big lemon trees on either side of the booth that were potted. And literally, it was a lemonade stand. And we weren't charging 25 cents. We weren't charging anybody. But we wanted to create something that was wholesome. And keep in mind, this was a conference based on sustainability. There were all large brands around the world embracing sustainability the best way they could. So they had a lot of their CSR heads. They had a lot of their sustainability directors, and from companies like JetBlue to a lot of big companies were all there. And so it was important that we were trying to kind of prove a point, but also supply something that was kind of cool. We set up little cafe seating all around the lemonade stand. And the key, which was kind of fun, was that we partnered with Tito's, and we spiked the lemonade every day at 4 o'clock. So from 4 to 7, you could have a vodka and lemonade if you wanted. And everybody loved it. And you could be wherever you wanted to be around the conference. You could hear people on the phone. Hey, love to meet you. Love to talk about business. Meet me at the lemonade stand at 5 o'clock. Yeah, sure. Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's meet at the lemonade stand at 6 o'clock. Somebody else. And it was hysterical how it just became like the place to meet. And it was the most simple booth at the conference. Well, day 1 was a huge success. And so the manager of this resort came up to me and said, Andy, we got an issue. And I said, what's that? And he said, we supply all the food service here. And so if someone's bringing something in from the outside, we need to charge you a corkage fee. And I said, well, you can't cork lemonade. They said, well, we'll charge you some kind of a bottling fee. And I said, let's just call him Joe. I said, Joe, that's fine, but let me explain something. You guys are known in the industry as one of the most sustainable resorts in the state of California, with all your incredible practices, which I'm proud of. And this is a sustainable brands conference. And so I don't think that it is appropriate, because I know where you're getting your lemonade, and I know it's powdered lemonade that's probably going to come in big canisters off of a Cisco truck, and you guys are going to make powdered lemonade. And I said, you can't do that with these guests. And he huffed and puffed. He's like, well, geez, Andy. I said, listen, I'm not going public with this, but I know that for a fact, and I can have one of my assistants hang out back and wait for the Cisco truck to pull up and deliver the powdered lemonade. Why is it that you can't just support a local lemon grower that's nearby? We have our policies, on and on and on. So I get a call that evening saying, okay, we're gonna let this pass, but let's talk about it again tomorrow. And it was a 3-day conference. And so the following day, we had the farmer there, and he brought his 2 great-granddaughters, and he stood behind the booth, and everybody, I don't know if he was wearing overalls, but I'm sure he was wearing jeans, and an old sweatshirt, and everybody was chatting him up, which was so cute. And we were pouring the best lemonade and serving the best brownies and cookies you've ever had. And it was a huge success. And by the end of the day, the manager of this resort came up and said, Andy, congratulations. Not only, have you proven us wrong and that you've set such an incredible example, but we are going to now source all of our lemons from this citrus grower moving forward. Thank you for the introduction. And I'm like, wow, was it that difficult? Honestly, like wherever you host an event, that is one of my secrets. I always try to partner with 2 to 3 local farmers. And when I say local, it can be within a 20 to 30 mile radius, wherever I can, to get the freshest of ingredients supplied for us so that we can create a product that is so tasty and wonderful and, fresh and in season and local. And it's so important. And if I'm able to, influence, let's call it, just a small percentage of attendees, hosts, and, other operators, I've done a great job by saying, you know what, support your local farmers. It's not that difficult. And what was really incredible was that the conference was ending, and of course the entire staff of this resort kept bringing me ice, and they were bringing me fresh limes from the kitchen that we'd run out of, and they were bringing me mint leaves. And I mean, they totally got it. And when I started handing out as we left, one of the managers came up and said, "Oh my God, Andy, we've just loved meeting you." And I said, "Sarah, you know what? It would be my pleasure. How would you like this beautiful handmade tablecloth and these huge oversized ball jars that we're serving the lemonade out of?" And her eyes lit up. She said, "My husband and I just built a new patio and a pool. I couldn't be more excited. Thank you." Someone else walked up and said, "Oh my word." I said, "How would you like to have these ball jars and this and that?" "Oh my gosh." Another employee came up. "Would you like this lemon tree in this pot?" You would have thought I was handing them a pot of gold. I mean, but these are the kinds of things you do. You want to make an event as close to zero waste as possible. You reuse, you reclaim, you repurpose, and you recycle. And I think that, if I can kind of do a little bit of that at every event that I host or that I produce or participate in, I'm doing a good job. And that was pretty cool. And it was definitely something that I patted myself on the back. And let me tell you something. We have recreated that lemonade stand several times at many different events and many different conferences. And how easy is that, right? Find a citrus grower not far from you, or find a citrus grower that you've read about that can ship you the lemons, their growing practices are good, and that they're focusing on, the right way. Regenerative farming, I think, is so important, and there are so many farmers out there that are the right kinds of irrigation systems that are drip, and they've got solar, and they're using wind, and these are all the kinds of things that I think are the future of tomorrow, and hopefully more prevalent today more than ever. But I think when you're putting together something that is to be clever but also sustainable, make it simple. Don't make it complicated. Think about the cute little kids at a card table, the corner of their lawn or the foot of their driveway, selling lemonade for 25 cents. It's not that hard, and I think it's pretty darn cool. That's my little share for today, guys. Talk soon.
To connect with Andy King, just follow him on Instagram at RealAndyKing and check back for another episode coming soon.